The clock has started on the Philadelphia Flyers, one of the more interesting stories. I mean, I going through, I'm like, I've said that about a lot of teams, but the Flyers are interesting.
Oh, the Metro is chaos.
It is.
It's always the chaos division, and it's great.
And obviously with the Robin Leonard tweets from this past week and at the time of this recording, nothing's been resolved, so we don't know.
We know nothing.
Coach Dinosaur, Alain Vigneault, who's, quote, disappointed. Robin Leonard's never played for Alain Vigneault, but this is the Flyers' first season without Jake Voracek since 2011. It will be an interesting case study because you've got Sean Couturier is your number one.
Yep.
Morgan Frost finally getting a real shot. He's played 22 games in the NHL. Probably going to be the second line center.
His best day of the week, by the way. You better hope the Flyers play on Psychedelic Sunday.
What?
What is that a reference
Oh, because
to?
Andy Frost?
Andy Frost is his
former
dad.
announcer for the Leafs. Oh, that's Andy Frost's kid.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Oh,
Actually?
Yeah.
Right.
Look it up.
Oh,
Google
yeah,
it.
that's right. I remember when he got drafted. But he's going to get to play with James Van Riemsdyk, which would be pretty cool.
James Van Riemsdyk, there was a three-way tie for Flyers leading scorer last year. Voracek was one, and he's gone. JVR was the other, and Claude Giroux.
And JVR with a comeback season. Because remember, season and a half ago, the guy was getting scratched.
He was getting scratched, and his health and the amount of games he can play is always going to be an issue. But if he's relatively healthy, he's JVR. You know what he's going to do.
I'm always going to cheer for him.
I love JVR.
He is one of the best net front presences in the NHL, especially on the power play. The Leafs have missed it ever since he left, but it's too expensive for us to keep. But
He was so money in the bank that one season.
yeah.
amazing. But also some interesting ads. Obviously, you got Giroux, Couturier, Konechny, Van Riemsdyk, Frost, Farabee, Oscar Lindblom, and then here's where it gets interesting. Derek Brassard and Cam Atkinson on the third line.
Atkinson's a finisher, man.
Well, so yeah,
I think
there's-
Leaf fans overrate him because he killed them. He killed them for years.
I like Cam Atkinson a lot.
He's a good player, Ben. He's a good player.
So he brings finish on the third line, but would you say defensively responsible?
I wouldn't say that about the Flyers ever.
Yeah, that's the main issue here. Like coming into this, when I'm looking at the Flyers, I'm like, okay, so get good at defense,
Please.
Philly.
Well, and then they get Ryan Ellis, and I go, hey.
Yeah.
And they get Rasmus Ristolainen, and I go, hey. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then they get Keith Yandel, and
Yandel's good.
It's a whole basket of let's see what's gonna happen.
Well, Yandel is not known for his defensive play, though.
Okay, can you fix your defense by signing a player or two? I think
Yes.
can you
look,
solve
it's
your
difficult.
Can you
TJ
solve
Brody?
your, can you solve your defense if your goalie is under 900
No.
consistently
no,
for an entire
you cannot.
season?
See, but you're throwing Brody into, okay, you get to play with Morgan Riley, and also we have Muzzin and Hall. Like, do you see how there was a framework there? Without TJ Brody, they're much worse, but there's a framework there. With the Flyers, who were the worst defensive team in the entire NHL last season.
31 of 31.
31 of 31. I don't think you're going to get rid of that in one offseason. Yeah, it'd be nice to get a few saves.
Yeah, but
be nice
I
to
don't
get a few
think
saves.
if I'm a betting man, I don't think Ryan Ellis walked in here and immediately solved all of the Flyers' problems.
No, but he's going to bang the shit out of the puck on the power play.
Sure.
And Rasmus Ristolainen can do that too. And you're more than capable of scoring goals up front. And you have faith that your goaltending is going to be better than last year, because I don't think it could possibly be worse.
How come your franchise goalie fell off the map? What happened there? Is it because of the defense and the
Because
lack
progress
of it?
isn't linear.
That's very true, but is your dip supposed? It's like Bitcoin. Why did the dip happen so aggressively?
I think more concerning than Carter Hart's drop-off is the solution to back him up is Martin Jones.
Right.
Right? So I was like, their goaltending couldn't possibly be, and I almost got to the end of the sentence before I thought Martin Jones.
When was the last time Martin Jones had an over 900 season?
Oh,
Like
that's
4 years ago?
Yeah,
Can
let's see. Hold on, let's find out. Martin Jones.
And let's not forget that he's been the starting goalie on a team for the last decade.
Yeah,
Who wants to guess the year?
I'm going to go 2017.
Okay, Jesse.
No, 2018.
2018-19.
18-19.
896, 896, 896 over the last 3 years. At least he's consistent.
Hey, there you go. But on the other
And
hand,
how many games played?
62, 41, 34.
Yeah.
62. Oof, Maron. Like, this is the thing. Hey, man, we're really glad that you joined the Flyers organization. Listen, we're not that great at defense. Oh, dude, that's cool. I'm coming from the Sharks. Like they weren't good either.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have a loaded up right side, but we're also not good at defense. Dude, I'm totally used to it. So they're gonna bring him in. Hopefully he can bring his resume in and be better than he was, and also help Carter Hart, who should be the definitive number one there.
Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, listen, Robin Lehner said it's Coach Dinosaur's fault that Carter Hart was stunted. Nolan Patrick no longer there.
Well, and you talk about being spoiled over your coaching career. Vigneault had Lundqvist and Luongo.
Yeah.
And now he's going to a guy who's not that far removed from junior.
Part of me wonders if there's a big spotlight on him this year to perform, just because the Flyers seemed a couple years ago when they fired Ron Hextall to think that they were a lot further along than they were.
There are some markets where I think it's particularly hard to be the goalie, and ironically, it's the biggest ones. Vancouver, I think it's hard to be the Canucks goalie. Toronto, it's hard to be the Leafs goalie. And Philadelphia.
Man, have they ever had bad luck with goalies?
Yeah, there are reputations that follow you around. There's a reputation with the Leafs that they're garbage at defense, because for the last quarter century they have been. And with the Flyers, the reputation since I don't know, for 30 years more, it's that they have bad goaltending. And Carter Hart comes in and it's part of the reason Ron Hextall left, who was a goalie for them as well.
Yeah, and he said he's not ready. He's not ready. Carter Hart comes in and has a ballistic first season.
And he's unreal. And, okay, kid, we're going to throw the kitchen sink at you. And in a tough season, he didn't do very well.
Something else that I think is really important, too, that we mentioned, and this, I want to know how much this hurts the Flyers in the early part of the season. By the way, don't tell Toronto fans that it's early. It doesn't matter that they lose this game, because the Toronto Blue Jays just lost out on the playoffs by one game. Every game does matter.
Thanks for that.
So
That's
when you lose Kevin Hayes for the first 6 to 8 weeks of the season, that's a big deal.
That is a big deal. It's a big loss.
And he's had a tough summer already. Lost his brother.
Yeah. And
Kevin Hayes brings a ton to this team, and it's more than just, they talk about this a little bit, and I hate to make this about the Leafs all the time, but on the All or Nothing documentary, they talk about, some of the players talk about how hard it is to be injured because you're not around the guys.
He needs to be around them.
But Kevin Hayes, so he needs that support system, A. B, he's apparently one of the guys that's one of the best people in the dressing room to hang out with.
And one of the nicest things that I saw during the offseason was, I think it was only a week after that tragedy there, and he's on the ice with his teammates, and they're smiling with him and everything. So I don't know what protocol is with injuries from organization to organization, but I hope he's able to interact with his teammates more than most injured players would get to.
Right. Just probably need it right now. Now, we need to talk about a couple of defensemen that we haven't really mentioned. Ivan Provorov being number one.
Big money Provorov.
He is big money. 6.75.
Who had a decent season last year.
Is he going to be the A-plus guy they hoped he would be?
Well, they certainly got him some help on the right side.
Yes.
Ryan
Ellis and Ivan Provorov's not fun to play against, I don't think.
No. He's a bit of a tough nut, too. Underratedly tough nut.
Yep.
With Provorov. To me, everything I say with the Flyers defense about Provorov or Ellis or anybody, the caveat is Rasmus Ristolainen.
Well, I was going to get to him next.
Has to be better than he was in Buffalo, which, as I get to the end of that sentence, I'm like, well,
how could he not be?
How could he not be? Because it was Buffalo.
So, and I wonder with Rasmus Ristolainen, Travis Sanheim is what he is. Good defenseman. Some people love him, some people hate him. He's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Rasmus Ristolainen is almost universally hated by the analytics community, almost universally loved by the hockey community. How many first-rounders were going to be thrown Buffalo's way for Rasmus Ristolainen along the way? Rasmus Ristolainen must be looking at this situation in Philadelphia. As much as everybody's like, well, they're in tough. He must be going, hey, there's other guys here. There's somebody else.
Hey!
He might be, this could be the best we ever see Rasmus Ristolainen. He's probably in a really great headspace, escaping the madness that is the Buffalo Sabres.
You guys look like you enjoy yourselves. Yeah,
yes.
That's pretty interesting.
And he's not top-line guy anymore.
No, and there's also, with Ryan Ellis, I know some people are talking about, well, eventually he's going to, drop off a bit because, time catches up with all of us. He's also coming from the Predators organization where they... Yes, they wear bright yellow. Their fans are very loud. They play a lot of music. That team is boring, though, on the ice. They scored once and went to the Stanley Cup final. They are always a defense-first organization, and maybe he can help bring that to that core.
Also interested to see how Joel Farabee does. Guys, where do you rate the Flyers in the division?
I have such a hard time with them. Jesse, can you go
I
first?
have them sixth, I believe. Sorry, I don't have my rankings up, but I believe I have them sixth. Go ahead, Steve.
I have them sixth, and it feels like an insult after all the things I just said about how good they could potentially be. The Metro's really good. Yeah. Really, really good.
There's a log jam ahead of them, and I don't see how they surpass any of that.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
They're one of the few divisions where I even...
Steve, we are at 11 minutes.
I look at the top.
What's your prediction?
Sixth.
Okay, thank you. Me too. And that's the bottom line.
What?
11 minutes.
Here, some more on Morgan Frost.